Hey YouTube, John here, back with another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the X600 Hexacopter from MJX RC. Now the MJX X600 is the largest of a series of 3 hexacopters recently released by MJX, and its sleek styling and excellent performance are sure to make this a popular model among RC flyers. Now when you get the ready to fly package, it's going to come complete with the Hexacopter, transmitter, lipo battery for the Hex, USB battery charger, prop guards, and a full set of spare props. The only thing you're going to need to supply is 3 AA batteries for the transmitter, and you're up in the air. Now the transmitter is probably one of the nicer toy grade transmitters I've flown with. It has a nice LCD display here that lets you know how much trim you've got into it, what rates you're in, and what mode you have the transmitter set to. Your trim buttons are in their usual spots. You get your yaw trim, throttle trim, front and back, left and right. Then down here to the left, you have your rate button. There are 3 rates to choose from, although in reality, advanced is the exact same as intermediate with the addition of auto flipping. So if you're in advanced rates and you give more than 90% input on the right stick, the Hex will automatically flip in that direction. This can be a lot of fun when in open space and doing some acrobatic flying, but it can get you in trouble real fast when you're flying in tight spaces. Another thing I want to mention about the rates is that the transmitter remembers the last rate that you were in. So if the last time you flew you were in mid rates, it will still be in mid rates the next time you turn the transmitter on. This is an important thing to remember to keep you from accidentally going into auto flipping when you don't want to be there. The yaw rates also change with the rates. They're relatively slow. However, combined with some banking, you can get this thing spun around reasonably fast. Now to the right of the LCD display, you have this little rotary knob. And what this knob does is it limits the amount of throttle that the quadcopter can give. So, if you have a beginner flying it, or if you're going to be flying it indoors, it may not be a bad idea to dial that down. Otherwise, I typically just fly with it all the way to the right. Now the left shoulder button has 2 different functions. If you're in normal flying modes, pushing it will toggle the LEDs on and off in the quadcopter. When it's in headless mode, this is your 1-key return home button. Basically the way it works is when you push it, it's the same as pulling the stick backwards. It just automatically flies backwards, which in theory, if the headless mode worked like it should, would be back to the pilot. The right shoulder button also has 2 functions. Pressing it once is an auto flip, and it just causes the quadcopter to do a front flip. Holding it down will put the quadcopter in a headless mode. Unfortunately, I found the headless mode to be fairly unreliable. Even after only a few short minutes of flying, it'll typically lose its heading and pretty dramatically. You might pull backwards and it'll go hard right or hard left. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. So I definitely wouldn't count on the headless mode to get you out of any kind of trouble. One really cool feature about this transmitter, it has the ability to switch between modes 1 through 4. So this makes it a pretty versatile transmitter. Basically, these 2 levers on the side here, if you pull them all the way down, that moves the throttle to the left stick. And at that point, you can switch between mode 2 and mode 4 by pushing the aileron rudder button. So you can see we're in mode 2 right now. Push it, we're in mode 4. And if you like your stick on the right side, take these 2 levers, move them all the way up, and now your throttle's on the right stick. And same thing, we're in mode 3. You push the aileron rudder button, and it switches to mode 1. So that's a pretty neat feature. One last thing I want to cover with the transmitter is how to recalibrate the accelerometers. So what you're going to do is turn on the hexacopter. You're going to bind it to the transmitter. Once you're bound, you're going to take both sticks on the transmitter and go down right. And once you see the lights flash in the hexacopter, your accelerometers have been recalibrated. Now the hexacopter itself has a great design. MJX kind of moved away from the standard multi-rotor shape and gave it more of a spider-like appearance, which doesn't only look good here on the bench, but it gives it an awesome looking silhouette up in the sky. I also want to point out that the construction of this Hex and the durability is amazing. I've had some pretty nasty crashes with this thing, and as you can see, it doesn't even have a scratch on it. So definitely impressed with the durability. Now the supplied prop guards, they appear to work pretty well. I haven't tested them real extensively because I primarily fly outside, but I have heard other users say that they are brittle, so you might want to just keep that in mind. Then moving here into the motors, you can see that the motors and gears are completely encased in this little motor pod here on the end of the arms. And the good thing is the motor pods are easily removable. All you have to do is just take this one screw out here on the bottom and then push down on this tab right here. Hopefully I can zoom in on that. Push down on that tab right there and the whole motor pod pulls right off. So this makes changing motors and just cleaning out, you know, debris and grass that builds up in the motor pods, it just makes it a breeze. Now my model came with a new taller landing gear, giving you a width of about 2 3/4 inches and a height of about 2.5 inches. I'm not sure what kind of a payload this thing can carry, but this leaves you plenty of room for a camera of your choice. The LEDs in this hexacopter are nice and bright, and you can see that they've given you 2 red ones in the back, and then the front ones are all blue. So this makes orientation nice and easy. But I have noticed that the LEDs don't really shine that well through the black body, so night flying is a little difficult. Now the battery bay is located here on the bottom of the hexacopter, and there's a screw that typically goes in here to fasten it. And you can see that there's the balance plug, hangs right at the bottom. So combining this with the on-off switch, you really don't have any need to mess with the battery at all. What I'll do is open the compartment here. You can see that the battery compartment is really tight and it's kind of a funny shape. So finding an upgraded, you know, higher milliamp hour battery may be difficult, but you get plenty of long flights with this battery, so I don't really see any need to. So speaking of flight times, the stock battery is a 7.4 volt 2S 700 milliamp hour battery. I was surprised to find that I was actually getting 10.5 minute flights with the prop guards on and 11 minute and 15 second flights with the prop guards off. So definitely long flight times. The low voltage warning though was pretty short at about 25 seconds. So you may want to time your flights to make sure you get somewhere safe before it decides to land itself. And also the supplied USB charger takes about 2 minutes to charge. So if you're impatient like me, you may want to get a spare battery. I think that about covers everything here. So I think what we'll do is we'll take this thing outside and show you how it flies. Alright, we're out here with the X600 Hexacopter, and it's a little breezy out today, but that's not a problem. This thing fights the wind pretty well. So we're going to start it off in low rates. We'll show you a low rate yaw. So there's full yaw and low rate. There's full pitch and low rates. So low rates is pretty docile. Like I said, it is a little windy out today, so it's going to be fighting the wind a little bit. We'll move it into high rates now. And here's high rates pitch. Show you some high rates yaw. Like I said, the yaw isn't crazy, but as long as you fly this thing, you know, yaw and roll, you get no problem flying it fast. Yeah, it'll spin right around. It's just, the only thing you got to remember is it does carry a lot of momentum. So, yeah, you need to have a lot of space to really open this thing up. But you give it some nice roll, some nice banking when you're turning, and no problem at all. This thing really is just a blast to fly. And we'll do some flips. Like I said, if you push the right shoulder button, it does an automatic forward flip. So we'll do some front flips. Pretty cool. We'll move it into expert mode. We lower it down a little bit here. Like I said, with expert mode, anything over 90% stick input is going to flip. So we can come towards us here, give it some back stick and do a back flip. So it's real fun to do some cool aerobatics with. The wind's picked up a little bit here, but still not a problem. We'll do a barrel roll. Pretty cool. Come back, we'll do another back flip towards us. There we go. Take it out of auto flips now. Back into high rates. Next thing we'll do here is I'll put it into, we'll lower it down a little bit. We'll put it into headless mode. And we'll see, I'll push it the stick forward. And actually headless mode's working right now, which is pretty strange, but it is working. So if I hit the 1 key return home, you'll see it's flying back towards us. So it is hit or miss. Right Right now it's hit, so that's a good thing, but I definitely would not count on that to get you out of trouble. But yeah, I think that covers about everything with this hexacopter. Definitely a blast to fly. I would definitely recommend this thing. Anyone in the market for a hex, this is a great option. Like I said, just make sure you have plenty of room to fly it, because when it stretches its legs, it goes. You just need plenty of room to fly. But I hope this video was helpful to someone. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. Definitely leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.